Karen blocked my barn door with her Porsche. So I drove my Harvester over it, entitled people. The metal teeth of my Harvester stopped inches from her Porsche's cherry red rear bumper. The only thing between it and 2 tons of angry steel was a pair of fuzzy dice dangling from the mirror. I could hear my cows bellowing from the barn behind it. Heat, struck and hungry. And I could hear Karen's voice in my head, all smug from earlier that morning, when she blocked the barn door with her keys in hand, saying, "It's just for a few hours, babe. I need the aesthetic for my yoga retreat." My hands tightened around the steering wheel as the engine roared to life, and I realized I was about to do something unforgettable. Maybe even unforgivable, depending on which side of the fence you stood on. And all I could think was, not today, Karen. Not during feed time. 12 hours earlier, I had been sipping lukewarm coffee on the porch, watching the sun creep over the cornfields when Roy rolled up in his dented pick, up to drop off a new water tank for the goat. We chatted about the heat wave, the price of diesel, and how Martha's prize hen was now brooding on a pile of golf balls. Small town stuff, peaceful, predictable. That was until Karen showed up at the farmer's market like a storm cloud in Lululemon. She was newish to town, one of those show A royalty types who treated rural life like a weekend Instagram filter. Her husband apparently made money from something involving tech and teeth. I never did get a straight answer. What mattered was that she'd been poking her nose into farm business lately, trying to turn our town into her version of a wellness utopia. This morning, she lost it over a missing jar of Manuka honey from her pre-reserved order and accused me of hoarding it for my livestock. I laughed too because the goats do like sweet things, but that didn't help. She threw a tantrum, a real foot-stomping, high-pitched spectacle, in front of half the town, then stormed off yelling that I'd regret embarrassing her in public. I didn't think until I came back to my farm, and saw her Porsche backed up to my barn door, parked so tight it was kissing the lock. No note, no explanation, just Karen's signature move, entitlement, parked on 4 wheels with a hint of citrusy air freshener. I called her, no answer. I texted, nothing. I even walked down to the yoga camp she was hosting a few fields over, but got intercepted by one of her personal assistants, who looked like he'd been trained in polite hostility. I paced, I fumed. And then I heard the cows. It was near noon by then, and the inside of the barn was cooking. I had fans installed, sure, but without the doors open to circulate air, the temperature climbed fast. That's when it stopped being annoying and started being dangerous. Livestock doesn't care about petty vendettas, they just need care. I called the sheriff, thinking maybe they could tow it, but since it wasn't technically a public road, they couldn't touch it without a court order. Days. They said. I had hours maybe. I called Roy. He said what I already knew. You're gonna have to move that thing yourself. I could hear the smirk in his voice. You still got the big green beast gassed up. The big green beast, my Harvester. My pride and joy. The one I only pulled out during peak season, or when things got biblical. It had blades the size of surfboards and an engine that could wake the dead. And it just so happened to be parked 30 feet away, purring with fuel and ready for glory. I didn't go roaring immediately. I tried common sense. I taped a polite warning note to the car. I gave it another hour. I even went to town, hoping she'd come to her senses. But when I got back and saw her lounging under a canopy, laughing with a circle of crystal, wearing influencers, I made my choice. I called Martha first.